one of the best ways to get success?
Okay, we'll go ahead and get started here, folks. It looks like we have just about everybody that we need logged in. Welcome. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Those of you that don't know me yet, my name is Eric Orr. I'm the Region Engagement Manager here at Dbia National. One of the programs under my purview here is the Student Design Build Competition. I really enjoy this competition. Last year was my first year doing it, and getting to watch the finalists present at the conference in New Orleans was really impressive. So I'm looking forward to doing this again this year. Just a couple quick housekeeping notes before I hand it over to Dennis and we get started. This meeting is being recorded. I'm going to go ahead and start that now. We will be distributing a copy of the recording to everyone via link in an email tomorrow. So you don't need to worry about recording on your end. We'll send it out to you. Everyone has been muted just to avoid the background noise while we're doing this. We will be having a Q&A at the end, but we're going to use the chat feature that you all use to sign in for the Q&A. And just a reminder, if you haven't done so already, team captains or faculty advisor, please let us know that you're present on the call by entering your team name. I did see a bunch come through already, so I think we may have caught everybody.
Why don't you just do a roll call real quick, Eric?
I think it might be easier, Dennis, if we just have people sign in. I don't want to, take up time going through the whole list. But
okay, that's what we've always done. So.
Okay. Well, last year we used the chat, and I think it worked well. But so yeah, we have 33 teams registered this year from 8 different regions. As you know, the top teams from each region will move on to the RFP portion of the competition. I know the competition committee, the region jurors, and national staff are all excited to see what you all produce. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Dennis Ashley, the Student Competition Committee Chair. And Dennis, the floor is yours.
Okay. Well, like Eric said, please be sure and make sure we know who you are. But there's, like University of Arizona has 5 different teams. Washington State has 3 different teams. So be sure you identify that all your teams are in on the call. So we'll start off. Eric just introduced himself. Again, my name is Dennis Ashley. I'm the one that you will send any of your RFQIRs to. As my email says, I'm retired. I retired in 2016. So, okay, again, just a project background for you that have participated before. This is the same. We're using the Dbia document number 405, the standard form request for qualifications. We started using that 2 years ago when Dbia came out with the standard RFQ and RFP that they can send out to owners to help them in establishing industry RFQs and RFPs to go out to the industry. And within that RFQ and RFP, they allow for a lot of different questions that the owners can answer. So we felt that it was important to use that form for the student competition also. We follow a industry RFQ, except that we've added design, cost, and schedule that isn't typical in an industry RFQ. And the reason why we did that was to give all the teams an experience of going through what you would be required to present in an RFP. But since only the first place winners get the RFP in this competition, we wanted everybody to experience that in the RFQ. It's really important to understand that this isn't similar to ASC that you might have competed in with the Associated Schools of Construction, where it is a cost and schedule competition. This is a design build competition where all those elements have to go together and consistently support one another throughout the process. So just keep that in mind. Again, there's some background on Kenyon. Of course, in your RFQ, you have a lot more on Kenyon. This is just a real brief how Kenyon started. On the project background, again, I want to stress that Kenyon College has no idea of this competition. How I put together these competitions are I go to a liberal arts school across the United States. Obviously, this year is Kenyon College, and select a college that has no architectural or engineering to keep away from potential advantage of any team. Although since the college doesn't know anything about it, I just take sites within the college that at this point in time, this year, have no buildings on them. And then you select, you go through, as you've read through the RFQ, the design portion of this is twofold, where you have to select out of the three, analyze the three sites, and then tell us which site you selected, and then give a aesthetic view of what you think in looking at the campus, architecture and character of what you might think that the project would look like from an aesthetic viewpoint, and then from a functional viewpoint, the main space and how you might lay this main space out in the adjacencies as indicated by the program. Again, this year it's a performing arts center. Also, what I do every year is I select a building that would be on most campuses, if not, I would think all campuses. So in looking through the program and starting to design your project, you can go to the Performing Arts Center on your campus and kind of get some ideas, both good and bad, of what they've done on those buildings. Here's the project site. This is a full campus, and actually, Dbia Village, the village of Dbia is mostly on this site plan also. The village is directly integrated with the college campus. And you notice that the three sites are indicated here, A, B, and C. You can tell that the village is obviously very integrated with the campus, and so what happens on the campus directly impacts the village and vice versa. These are all in your RFQ. This happens to be attachment P, and it shows the constraints of A. You can take the full site of A for your site or any portion of that A site. Again, those aren't dimensions. They're just from a viewpoint of Kenyon College giving you the general area of where you can place your site. And we expect when you...
Goodbye. Is being recorded.
...campus based on that study. But in doing that study, they found that they needed a new building to integrate the existing programs on site of dance and drama and music into musical theater, which incorporates all three of those talents.
It's either they're not
Gives you a rough program with no square footages involved that the board is now going to final review and approve within the next few weeks. That final program will be included with the RFP. This year, it's a little different from past years where we're giving you a validation period after you're selected with the design builder. And before actually initially finalizing the contract with you, you'll go through a 4-month period validating your design that you presented in the RFP. There's some contract issues that you have to solidify prior to starting the validation phase, and then you'll have 4 months maximum to present your validation documents, which is indicated in the RFQ as what is sometimes called a schematic. document. And then based on that, the board will select, or the building committee will select one team, and that team will go into the validation phase and working with the college and all their stakeholders come up with the final maximum budget and program based on the initial budget and the initial program based in the RFP that you will finalize. One of the things is that the community college has not utilized design build before, but through the program and the initial thoughts of the building committee, they hired a consultant to help them in establishing what would be the best delivery method to use for their project. And they came up with design build. The board is agreeing with that, but wants to analyze responses in the RFQ by the proposals team of what they feel is why design build would be the best for community college, comparing it to methods they've used before in the design bid build and the construction manager at risk formats. So obviously the three things that they're interested in is cost, schedule, quality, and how all these three things benefits the owner. At this point in time, they're strong in sustainability, but they haven't decided if this project is going to be gold or platinum, and that will be decided in the RFP.
Going to be silver, but they haven't decided for this project. That's the way it reads.
Deliverables that are identified in the RFQ are to be presented in a maximum of 32 pages,
Where they cut the
and
budget
a page is defined as 8.5 by 11, except for there, I think, I don't have this number in the back of my head, but I think there's 8 pages that are allowed to be 7 by 17, but those pages are for graphics only, not for narrative. Now obviously you'll have a narrative explaining the graphics, but it's not for one of the basic narratives that is required by the RFQ.
Great.
As you go through the RFQ, be sensitive to reading about what the college is really looking for. Here we're saying the successful team must have an extensive and proven track record in the design and construction of similar facilities. That's similar facilities, relevant facilities. Work on a college campus and a professional commitment to design excellence. Teamwork, collaboration, innovation, and open communication in order to deliver a user-centered product at the right cost and within the constraints of the project schedule. As you put together your response in the RFQ, remember, everything is about community college. This building is for community college, and how that will integrate within the existing college campus and be utilized by the different departments, and actually for outside use for the village of Gambier to have any productions, maybe at Christmas or other times where they might have productions that come in from out of state, or a traveling production from Broadway, that they might want to use this facility to put that on. So remember all those things that are in your response to the RFQ that's important to the college. Again, the judges are really focusing on the thought process of how you go respond and convince community college that your team is the best for their project. Again, as I indicated before, this isn't a design competition, it's not a cost competition, it's not a scheduling competition, it's a design build competition where all the elements in the design and construction of the project are brought together, integrated and collaborative with community college. judges will weigh the technical analysis supporting the argument. How consistent are you within the elements in coming to the conclusion in the design, both on the site, in this instance on the site, and on your validation cost of who will be in the validation, who will be collaborating with Kenyon College through that 4-month co-located collaboration process.
The score.
Here's the scoring for the RFQ, which obviously you have in your RFQ. Review which areas have the highest point values towards them. Really focus on those. Not that you're not focusing on the others, but really focusing on those.
%28 on the design concept. Seems like
These are the attachments you should have
towards the
received.
design composition.
Here's the key date. In submitting RFQ IRs, 9/22 by noon, and then all responses will be back to you by 6 p.m. the next day. I try to get them back sooner than that, but if I'm inundated with a lot of RFQ IRs on the 22nd, it might take me a little while to get all the answers back to everybody. And how I respond to those RFQs, IRs, is well, I'll wait until I go through that in the next few slides or so. All responses have to be turned in by 9 p.m. on the 26th. That's Eastern Daylight Time. So remember that. It's not 9 p.m. your time, it's Eastern Daylight Time. On the 3rd, we will indicate the regional winners that will receive the RFP later that day. And then the following day is the virtual meeting as we're having right now for the RFP. And those proposals will be due the 22nd, as you can read there. And this is also indicated in the RFQ. On the RQIRs, these are really critical, actually. In industry, RFQs and RFPs are never answering everything, and a lot of times they actually contradict different portions. So the industry really has the ability on the information request, the IRs, request for information or information request according to who's putting out the proposals, of clarifying that with the owner. Now these don't change the contract documents. They're for clarification only. The only thing that changes the contract document, and if somebody submits an RFQIR that needs to be really changed and tell everybody the same thing, those will be issued as a addendum. And everybody will get the response to the addendum. Now, every team is able to submit 6 questions in a total number of 3 RFQIRs. And those questions will be issued, the answers will be issued to everybody in that region. It won't go to every team across all 33 teams. It will go only to the teams in that region. Then you have 2 additional RFQIRs that you could ask that the answer will only be given to you. And those are really critical. Now on the normal one, if you feel that this answer has to be issued to everybody to really clarify an answer so that some people aren't taking a different approach to that could impact you in the evaluation of your proposal, then you want everybody to know that answer. But there are some things in industry and in this competition that you're throwing out there that you want to see what the feeling is of the owner to your suggestion or your idea that only you have the answer to. Use those. You have the ability to do that twice. Now in industry, unfortunately, we don't have that ability, so we're having to take a chance on either putting it out for everybody or just in a proposal, hoping that the owner will accept us. I'm giving you the opportunity to really get a firmer answer on an idea you have. So be sure and use those. I think those are critical. I don't think they're used enough. I know this RFQ, even though I did it, it's not perfect. And there'll be questions and mistakes that need to be responded to. So please use that ability to ask those questions. Here's some hints on responding to an RFQ. Read all the supply documents. Go through and read it one time before you start doing anything. You might have already done that, and these hints you might already do, but I'm just throwing them out there. Prioritize and assign responsibilities to the team. Identify RFQIR questions early and determine your strategy in asking questions, but make sure you utilize your RFQIR responsibilities as I just indicated. Provide your responses in the order requested. This is important. The owner has, even though you may not agree with the order of the RFQ that the owner is asking for deliverables, follow their order. When I was working, a firm I was working for thought the marketing department thought they knew better and responded in a different order than what was requested by the owner. The owner opened the table of contents and didn't even review our submission because we couldn't follow instructions. So that's important. Be sure you answer the question, not what you think the question should be asking. This is critical for review by each team member to look at maybe what another team member, how they answered the question, and making sure from your viewpoint they're answering the question asked, not one that they thought was being asked. Focus on the big picture first and add more detail as time allows, especially from a point viewpoint. And ensure your submission is coordinated and consistent across all deliverables. That's one of the biggest things that the judges will be looking for, consistency across the whole proposal. Do not exceed page count. That's important. Now in this competition, we don't throw the proposal out. In industry, if there's a page count, if you go over the page count, they throw the proposal out. They don't read it or evaluate it. And here, we aren't saying we're throwing it out, but we aren't going to read past the page count identified. So be succinct, answer the question, but be succinct, and follow the page count requirements of each section. I think I brought across how important it is to review the RFQ and what they're really asking for in the history of the school and how they approach design excellence and how they approach different aspects of the program and what they think is important, and respond to those in your RFQ response. Remember Dbia best practices. Try to respond to the best practices that Dbia alludes to, because obviously since this is a Dbia competition, the judges will be reviewing how you respond and how you follow the Dbia best practices.
You have a copy of that?
Yes.
Again, as I indicated, RFQ RQIRs aren't a change to the contract. Only addendums are a change to the contract, but the RQIRs will be clarification, similar to any questions asked in this meeting. They won't be counted as an RQIR, but they will serve the same mission, that you won't change the contract if a question is asked in this meeting that I feel has to be clarified more so than just a verbal clarification. An addendum will be issued. Again, as indicated, points of contact is Eric and myself. And team faculty advisor, you can ask questions of them, but all the team faculty advisors know that they aren't to solve the problem for you. They can give you some direction, but they're very careful on how far they go in solving the problem for you. This is for your team, you five, to work together, collaborate, and come up with a good proposal. Okay, for questions, I don't know if any came in yet, but Eric, you can follow up on that.
Alright, so if you give me 1 second here, I'm going to give everybody the ability to unmute themselves, and then if we could all pose our questions in a orderly fashion, we'll continue just using the unmute, and you can chime in. So just give me 1 second here. If it becomes too much and there's, background or an echo or anything, we'll go ahead and just use the chat window for questions. But just give me 1 second.
So do we have a question we want to ask?
Mine was answered.
Okay, folks, if you have a question, please unmute your line, and you can go ahead and ask it to Dennis, and once you've asked your question, please remute your line.
Good call.
What's that?
Oh,
Question. Zach Hinkley from the University of Washington. For the site C, where it goes across the middle path, are there any limitations for a sky bridge or anything else across that area?
No, there aren't. As long as it's within your budget, you just can't interrupt the middle path.
Okay, thank you.
So as you indicated, sky bridge would be not interrupting the middle path.
Just one more quick note, when you have a question, if you could say your name, your university, and your team. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Davis Meeks from the University of Florida, and I have a question about the site design requirements. For the on-site parking requirement, it says that there's a minimum of 5% of total seats for the main auditorium on site, and then there's a note on the next page, right below the performance, that says an additional 75% of total seats must be available within, and there's nothing else after within. So I was wondering what was supposed to precede that beginning of that sentence.
Well, I don't have that up, but as I said, it isn't perfect, so I will reissue that as an addendum and give you a number of feet that has to be included within.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, this is Brett Paulson from Iowa State University.
they went last year.
Regarding 5.7.1 of the RFQ, it talks about that the schematic site plan should have the building structure footprint as 20,000 square feet. I was wondering if that was a theoretical 20,000 that we all need to abide by, or if that is the main square footage that our building has to rest upon, or if you can clarify for that.
That's a good point.
Yes. No, your building your initial your final building does not have to rest within that 20,000. Because I don't give you the square footages in the program for the different areas, you have no idea of how large your building will be or will have to be. So I'm just saying for this, for an analysis of a site, just use a 20,000 square foot footprint. And if you're selected as the RFP, then obviously your actual design will go within that space. It could be larger or smaller, but for the RFQ response and analyzing the site, just use the 20,000 square foot. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Hi, this is Ping from Iowa State University. It says that we're required to show a concept design of the main space, and just to clarify, the main space includes the auditorium, the stage, and the seating in there, correct?
No, the main space is more, you would call it more of an entry,
Oh.
the entry area, which the entry area has adjacencies within, which is the auditorium and other things that are identified in the program. Of course, no square footages are indicated in the program, but I give you, for this exercise, the square footage to use.
And further with that, the RFQ did not list anything specific in terms of deliverables they want to see to represent the concept design for it. Is that up to us to choose how we want to show the concept space design? I mean, the main space concept design?
Yeah, that could be, actually it could be several ways. It could be just a simple floor plan. It could be a SketchUp model showing what you anticipate the space to be, but keeping in mind that you have to show the adjacencies to the other area.
Okay, thank you.
This is David Gunderson, faculty coach at Washington State University. We have a student that was on a team last year and created work, personally created work in response to the previous RFQ. If any aspect of that were used in the statement of qualifications this year, would that be considered self-plagiarization?
No, David, it wouldn't.
Thank you.
More than a third are in our districts, or our region.
Hi, this is Davis Meeks again, from the University of Florida. For projects of similar scope and complexity, point A, it says projects of a similar size and budget that include design and construction of student housing on university campuses and facilities. And I just wanted to clarify that should be performing arts centers instead of student housing.
Where is that? Like I said, not 100%.
Yeah, that's why we just wanted to clarify. That is under projects of similar scope and complexity on number 405, page 7 at the bottom. Sorry, I've got a picture of it, so I can't see the full document.
Okay, I will have that in the addendum also.
Thank you.
If you did last year, I goofed.
This in New Orleans again?
Hello, this is Blake Donahue, University of Arizona Performance Builders. And I just wanted to clarify, Kenyon College says that they have a music school, but I just wanted to clarify, we're designing the space as a multi-purpose music, performing arts, orchestra, dance, kind of like a multi-purpose theater?
No, it's not. It's not orchestra. Music in this instance is all vocal, as in a music theater. And why I quit, to be very honest with everybody, why I went to music theater is my son got his degree and is in New York now in music theater. So I'm well aware of what is required in music theater. So music theater has the drama aspects, has the dance aspects, and has the vocal aspects. Now obviously there's a orchestra that could be playing for the performance, but that's not part of the music theater curriculum. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, that was great. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, this is Margaret from the University of Southern Mississippi. We were wondering...
Oh, can't hear you.
Oh. This is Audrey. Can you hear me?
It's a little muffled, Audrey. Please, if you can get closer to the phone or just speak a little louder.
We were wondering if on Site B, if we could use the parking lot beside it during construction and after.
Darn, I can't make that out. I'm sorry. Can you make that out, Eric?
No, unfortunately. Audrey, can you type it into the chat and we'll read it out loud for everybody?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
George, when you were looking at those regional maps, so there's one team and one region, does that mean that they automatically go to RFP?
This is Spencer Peak from Weber State University. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yep.
we got you.
So not necessarily
Okay,
all.
follow up on the orchestra part. Since it is musical theater and everything, if there was an opportunity for an orchestra to come and run a hit, that has to be provided for that orchestra in the auditorium and all.
It's a big region.
That's kind of up to your design. I would say yes.
Okay. And then the other question, that was just a follow-up to the other one, but the question that I had was for the competition rules and clarifications, letter A, note 1, says this year's students are from an architectural school. The 5 points would be extra, or would be added for up to 2 students. What considers it an architectural school?
It says New School of Architecture.
Yeah.
Non-construction.
Not construction.
So, as in like the school program is in non-construction, or how, I guess I didn't totally. Okay.
Yeah. Well, we kind of analyzed that, and it's more of a, what we're trying to do is integrate design students more. 2 years ago you weren't involved, but we had you had to team with a design, but we weren't able to carry that out. So now we just have design students, and we're kind of limiting it to architectural design students rather than mechanical or electrical design. And that's what we're focusing on now.
Okay. So
You got,
I think we got it
okay.
covered.
Okay. Dennis, we got the question from University of Southern Mississippi. It says, on Site B, can we use the adjacent parking lot beside it during construction and after completion?
Well, I'll have to consult with the school on that. Oh, yeah, they said yes.
Yes.
But again,
2016 they said
a
no.
lot of these questions are, don't get so hung up on the final design, because again, in an RFQ, you're being selected on your qualifications, like the pit requirement and some of these other things. I know they're important to consider when you're going through, but in this instance, really focus, you need to consider those, but really focus on what the RFQ is asking you to do. And that's why I stopped putting square footages in for the program and not putting them in until the RFP, because too much work was being put in what will be asked for in the RFP, in the RFQ, and it was detrimental to your RFQ response. So these are good things to try to analyze and understand, but don't go too far in the RFQ with RFP requirements. If that makes sense.
Hi, this is Miguel Avila. Can you hear me?
Yep.
So
What school
I'm
are you
from
from?
Cal Poly Pomona. This is Team Poly Prime.
Okay.
My question is under 5.7.1 design concept presentation. It says that we need to provide a minimum of one perspective view of the initial thoughts of the exterior aesthetic design approach. How detailed do you want this to be? Is it like a mapping model, or do you want it more detailed rendering?
Not fully rendered, but enough to show the character that you're trying to represent from the college. And what my thoughts were was when you go on the main space, the entry, take that area on the exterior to see what your entry into the building might look like. Again, this doesn't have to follow through. This isn't your final design, but it's your initial thoughts. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Hey, this is Mitchell Lichtinger from the University of Cincinnati. We had a question about the architecture and design component. That we have architectural engineers on our team, and they take half their course load in our College of Design, Architecture, and Planning, but also take half their course load in the College of Engineering. We were wondering if that qualifies them.
Since I'm a registered architect and my degree is architectural engineering, I say yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Hey, Dennis, we had a question come in via chat from Oklahoma State. It says the building numbers and attachments R, Q, and P do not correspond with the building numbers in the O attachments, overall campus map. Which numbers should we use?
The building. The legend for the overall site is different than what is shown on the individual sites. Is that what he's saying?
Sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Let me look at that, and I'll put that in the addendum also.
Yes, that's what they were
So where
referring
is
to.
site C in this?
Okay. And we had another one come in
Oh, I see.
from
Where it
Seminole
says C?
State. Would a Bachelor of Science in Interior Design student qualify for the bonus points? Assuming that's
For interior design,
yeah.
Everybody just wants these 5 points.
Let's just-
1,000 points.
I think we should get
my initial response is yes. What's your thoughts, Eric?
I don't have any objection to it.
Okay. Yeah, let's indicate that, yes, interior design does qualify.
What about interior architecture? What about product design? What about design of products?
We have one more coming via chat. It's from Ariansh. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, sorry. Design Build Devils. It says on page 3, I'm assuming this is the main RFQ, why is there things which create realism but not that much necessary to respond? Can you explain point G? So I think they need a more detailed explanation on point G of the RFQ, Dennis.
Yeah, I don't. Let me try to open the RFQ real quick.
I
don't have it open. I should have planned on having it open, but
It's talking about all of the attachments that they gave us. That's a lot of that is going to be for the RFP, but we get access to it now.
So we're thinking in the right veins. But C in the middle campus is very nice.
That's what you're saying.
to be a focal point.
Okay, so biggest question I would have is the school.
Page 3,
How am I gonna teach school while you're building?
Yeah, item G.
G.
On our list of things to mitigate. But yeah, they just finished a project.
Again, the whole purpose of this RFQ, especially utilizing the DBIA RFQ, is to replicate what you might see in industry. So what I've done is I've given you more information that may be required to actually respond to the RFQ. That's what that's saying.
Okay, I think you got it.
Let's see.
Any more questions? Going once, going twice.
So if you ask that question, probably just go and basically you just have to do.
Okay.
You need to go over their class schedule.
Dennis, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Nope,
So that's when it would be like the most.
I don't. The other, just wanted to make sure that the other addendum number was 5.71 that I was going to respond to. Just following up on this. Oh, the demonstrated, okay.
Did you get it, Dennis? Did you get what you need?
I think so, yes. Let me check. I think that was the, footage to a, yeah, there we go, got it.
Okay. So yeah, the recording should be available definitely tomorrow. I'm going to try to get it out in the morning. If not, but then in the afternoon. But we'll definitely get that out to everybody tomorrow along with the slide deck. So thank you everyone for joining us. Just a reminder, submissions are due on the 26th by 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And good luck. Dennis, unless you have anything else, I'm going to go ahead and close it out.
Alrighty. Good luck, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Goodbye.